Hey guys, you're watching video number 5 of your 7-day detox program. That's great. You probably feel clean now, empty and light. Your enema might be clear water by now, and that's normal. Most toxins and microbes are microscopic, so even if it's clear now, doesn't mean it's going to stay like that. You might have more solids coming out later, and this is because the intestinal wall takes a few days to loosen up and let go of solidified food and plaque. Maybe some of you had a clear enema this morning, but maybe some of you had some surprise. So I think we need to talk about this. Parasites, worms, these are organisms that live in your guts and feed off your nutrients. We catch these by ingesting eggs that were in contaminated feces. And now I hear you say, I don't eat poo. I know you don't eat poo, nobody does. But contaminated feces can be everywhere. Eggs can travel through contaminated water. When you travel, some countries don't have the same hygiene techniques when it comes to water treatment. Some water is not treated at all, and a lot of microbes will live in that kind of water, and you will find a lot of infected feces in it. If you brush your teeth or eat raw food that was cleaned with this water, then you can be infected. Eggs can also be found in contaminated soil. This can be from human feces or animal feces. When you walk barefoot, for example, some type of parasites can go through your skin and infect you that way. You can also ingest eggs by eating undercooked or raw meat or fish. This is so popular, eating sushi or tartare. It's a no-brainer that any type of microbes, bacteria, or worms will grow into a dead animal. Plus, a lot of the animals were already infected. The agribusiness these days is not so clean. Owning a pet is another reason why someone would get infected by worms. Pets like cats and dogs transport a lot of microbes that can be transmitted through cuddles and kisses. They just walk around sniffing each other's behind and bringing all sorts of bugs into the house. Clean your dog often and avoid contact with your mouth. Parasites can also be passed around with a handshake, a door handle, clothes, and dishes. Washing your hands after visiting the bathroom can really help prevent infections. Pinworms are commonly transmitted through children in school or at daycare. They scratch their anus and they don't wash their hand after they go to the washroom. And of course, you can also get infected through sexual contact. There are 2 families of parasites, the protozoa and the worms. Then you have different species in each family. The protozoa are a one-cell organism. We can only see them through a microscope. And they can live in the nature or in the host, and they multiply very rapidly. We don't talk much about these, but they are everywhere. They can cause inflammation in the body, in the joints, and in the muscles. They create cysts, and they can cause serious illnesses. When it comes to worms, the worms are bigger. You can see them with your eyes. The eggs are microscopic, but you can see the adult with your eyes. These are very common. They can cause so many of our illnesses, especially digestive problems, weight problems, and mental illnesses. They live in your gut with the rest of your microbiota. They multiply and they overpopulate, and they end up controlling you. There are common infestations that we can talk about. The ones that I see the most are the roundworms. They're the biggest ones and you can't miss them. The adult female can measure up to 35 centimeters. When they're dead, they look like this. You can see it looks like jelly and you can see through it. The roundworms, they live in your intestine and they feed off the nutrients that you have eaten. They eat all the good stuff and leave you with the excess fat. These worms usually cause weight gain, bloating, constipation, mood swings, and insomnia. The pinworms are also very common. They're usually found in children. The kids get them at daycare and then they pass it on to the rest of the family. Those are little tiny white worms and they cause itchy anus at night. It's actually the female that comes out at night and attach her eggs around the anus. This causes the itchiness. So then you scratch and then you don't wash your hands and then you ingest the eggs and then you pass it on to the next person. The whipworms are small and thin and with one end that is like a spaghetti. They live in your intestine and your colon, and the people that have them usually feel like they always need to go to the bathroom. It can also cause serious problems, rectal problems. Hookworms have a different life cycle. They develop outside in the nature and then they travel through your skin. They first go to your lungs and then migrate to your intestine where they're gonna hook their teeth into your intestinal wall. This is where they get their name. They have a mouth with sharp teeth and they suck your blood. This is their food, and this is why it causes usually anemia and iron deficiency. Okay, so you're probably not liking this conversation we're having about worms. You probably think that it's way too disgusting to be inside of you. Or maybe you saw them this morning in your enema and you never thought in a million years that you could have something like that inside of you. Maybe you had signs but never looked into it. So, look in the toilet after you eliminate some water. Just flush every time. Look, then flush. And that way you're always going to have clear water to see what's floating. Take pictures and then you can maybe analyze them. When you're fasting, the worms are dying because you're not giving them food, so they come out with the enema. I suggest you to do a stool sample at the hospital 2 weeks after your detox to see if you still have worms. If you do, you should treat it. There are different types of treatments, more conventional or natural treatments. The choice is up to you. As long as you take care of it, you don't want them to multiply again inside of you. So, day 5, continue like this. You're doing great, and I will see you tomorrow.